Yeah.
Take two.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? This is Jim Grzanzio from the Oracle Groundbreakers team, and we're here tonight to have a conversation with an old friend of mine, Chandan Tanwani. Chandan is in Pune, India right now, and he is one of the speakers on the at the conference, the Sangam 20 conference, which has been running for the last 2 weeks and will run throughout this week as well. As you know, everything the Indian community does, they do at scale. So this is another one of these 100 speaker 3-week long conferences. And Chandan does actually 2 functions at this conference. He's speaking, but he's also helping to organize. So we're going to get a real flavor of what it takes to put on a massive event of this size. So Chandan, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's my pleasure to talk with you in this event actually. So thank you very much for connecting, and it's really good to see you again in this conference. Last year we met actually, and again we are meeting virtually now. Last year we met in the physical events, so this year is a virtual event.
Yeah,
so
actually,
good to see you.
Actually, last year we met in July, and it was on the Oji Yatra tour.
Oji Yatra, yeah.
Oracle Groundbreakers Yatra tour, which is, for you out there who don't know this is an insane tour that Sai Penamunu and the group put on. They basically tour the entire tech center, all the major tech centers in India. It takes them a month to do. And so, and interesting thing, you're in Pune, or you work in, Pune. I was doing interviews last year from Pune, India, right? Of course, nobody corrected my mispronunciation. They just let me go and say it, right? I only recognized my mispronunciation after I recorded like 6 interviews from Pune, India. But hey, I can hardly speak English. So anyway, so let's talk about what you're talking about. Let's start off there. You're doing a session. You spoke a little bit earlier about doing a rapid fire session. What's the concept around a rapid fire session?
Rapid fire session is it's a new concept that we are bringing in Sangam 20 right now. So in this session, we are the 3 speakers, Vivek Sharma, Karan Rodwal, and me. We are speaking on the performance tuning stuff. It's a performance tuning on the database side. So we all three together will speak one by one, and we will take the questions from the audience, and anyone can ask any questions, and we all three will answer those questions, performance tuning related stuff. Basically, we are going to cover the Oracle Optimizer, SQL profile, SQL tuning, and behind the scene means how the SQL is working. And also we will cover the use cases, means the real-time scenarios where SQL is performing very bad, and how to tune that SQL. What are the things needs to be considered, and what we need to identify. How can we identify the problems and how to overcome those problems? And you can tune those SQL, and you can run SQLs very fast into the Oracle database.
So I would imagine if you have a gigantic database, and that's something that is business critical, that obviously performance tuning is obviously necessary and critical. But I mean, how hard is it? I mean, is this something to where DBAs have to spend a lot of time on? Is this sort of a fine art to get the most out of the system?
Yeah, actually, as I always say, that tuning is an art. So performance tuning is an art actually. So database is very fast, and day by day means data is growing. Okay, so whenever you run a query, you generate a report. So you have to, scan whole the table to identify which rows you need to, catch through that report. Okay, so tuning may require a database tuning, application side tuning, or your instance tuning. So there are different areas that you have to look into that. So it is not one thing that you are looking into the queries. So one fine areas that we are going to talk about is the application side and the database side tuning. And behind the scene means every application is is running on the SQL. So they are firing the SQLs, and reports or output is generating behind the scenes. So how SQL is working into the Oracle database, and what are those consequences, means how optimizers knows that this particular query will have the indexes or not, and the explain plan, which plan the optimizer needs to catch, and fine tune that query and regenerate the plans. So all this stuff is the behind the scenes that Oracle database optimizer is working on. So in every version, and starting from the 7, 8, 9i, 10g, yeah, 11g, 12c, every version optimizer is going to be a smart enough. So we say that optimizer is a heart of the Oracle database. So how this heart is functioning, and how you can optimize your heart actually, what you need to feed to your heart actually. So say human body is requires some food to function here. So optimizer also requires some food to function very well. Okay, so there are few areas that you have to feed your optimizer. So like a statistics, so you have to feed the statistics. Your statistics will is a key function area from your optimizer. So how it's working behind the scene, you need indexes. Okay, so your table should have some indexes so that they can fire a query, and they can uh, catch those particular data out of it. So our intention to give the highlights of optimizers think, how behind the scene query is working, how you can feed your optimizer so that he will be healthy, and it will gives you the maximum performance out of it.
It's interesting, in Japan, you often hear the phrase that food is medicine. So I guess, also for your database, you have to feed it good food, because that's the medicine, right? That's to keep a
Yeah,
healthy system.
yeah.
Is this something that is primarily for developers, or DBAs as well? I mean, who would actually be doing this work of optimization?
Actually, both DBAs and developers should focus on this actually, because developers are developing the application. They are the key person who are writing the queries. So
Okay.
when you are writing a queries, so you have to write a query in such a way that optimizer, have the minimal task, and also that DBAs should work on the database side, means some optimizer parameters that needs to be set in the database side, so that optimizer will aware about this kind of the query which is coming to me. I should handle with this hints. Okay, so with this particular you can say parameters that I set. So accordingly, optimizer should work on that. So there are many things like you can have indexes, you can have statistics behind the scenes, you can have optimizer hints you are supplying with the SQL queries, you have SQL profiles, or you have a resource manager, or you can have a who are with resource manager, you are doing resource management with particular profile users. So everything is needs to be considered, and based on that, optimizer generate a plan. Okay, and then using that plan is nothing but it's a path from where is your source to destination, how you are traveling to that. Okay, so minimizing that path and minimizing the cost of it will give you the better performance.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, it sounds like it's a comprehensive session, in the sense of there's multiple levels involved, and
Yeah,
different, types of people at the application, and also at the database level. What about numbers of
yeah.
people, like different teams? Is this something an individual will do, or somebody has to interact with a group of people to do?
Yeah, definitely. It's required to interact with a group of people, means who has developed the application, or the data DBAs will behind the scene will identify which query is performing bad, and it will
Mm.
extract those queries and identify that how the plan is going on. And with interaction with the developers, they both can work together and fine tune that query, and they can do they can bridge the gap between them, and they can if anything missing into that, they can fill the gap with this.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that this session is a rapid fire session. What does that mean? You mentioned you have, so there's other speakers, there's two other speakers, but
Yeah.
usually you think of that as, say, like a panel discussion or something like that. What does rapid fire mean?
Rapid fire means from audience, anyone can ask any question to any speakers.
Oh, okay.
So rapidly you have to answer for that.
Oh, I see. I see. So
so
it's like you're on the
it's like
spot,
yeah,
right?
yeah, on spot you have to answer. So
Okay.
what we are bringing with this session, Vivek Sharma is talking about the optimizer. Karan Dodwal is talking about the SQL and profiles, and I will talk about the real time scenarios with the SQLs and how to identify that and how to you can resolve the performance issues. So those we are bringing in three this stages, so anyone can ask any question during this talk, and we can answer on all those questions on the performance tuning.
Cool. Cool. Okay.
Uh,
So, performance tuning, you said in a couple of days, right? You're going to do this talk.
yeah, performance tuning is on 19th December.
19th. Okay.
It's 1 to 2 p.m. in IST time, Indian Standard Time.
Okay, cool. I will put a link, as they say, in the show notes below.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some of your organization efforts. When I go on your tours, when I went to Sangam last year, whenever I've seen your community sort of in action, right? I'm always very impressed with the community development, project management, organization skills of the team of people who volunteer to put these things together. In a physical sense, right? But now, of course, hey, this is 2020, right? You don't even have to say much more than that. And so now it's a very, very different experience. And I am acutely aware of the challenges, but I'd like to hear what your experiences are. Also, not only the challenges of putting together the conference, sort of working on a team that is managing, but you're also delivering content. And this is something I also notice, is that many times the speakers are also the organizers, right? And I also think that this is something that a lot of Western community developers of community organizers should realize. I noticed this in Japan as well. So basically, you got to do two functions here. You got to deliver a talk, right? And you also got to do organizing. So what's the organizing like, and how do you balance the two?
So basically, I'm a part of AIOG community, and I'm doing the volunteering things in AIOG. So as you know that earlier we were doing the physical, events. It's a face-to-face events, and we used to, communicate with our peers that these kind of events are, organizing. You can participate into that. We used to, talk with our colleagues, friends over there. Now in this situation in COVID-19, we are doing the virtual events and the physical events. So both are means totally different, that we come to the digital platform now. So the things are totally different, and we have to digitally we have to connect with the participants. We have to connect with the other friends and colleagues that these kind of events are happening, and you should participate. Actually, the Sangam 20 is a flagship event of AIOG, and we used to call that it is a festival of Oracle Learning Festival actually. So come in this event and learn together. So by this way means we are communicating with the participants. We are promoting this event. And yeah, definitely means when we are talking on to the different topics on the Sangam event or any other event, we used to also connect with the you can say participants, that yeah, this is the interested topic that you should aware about this. So not only the database actually, but there are many you can say tracks like analytics track, security track. You can have AI and machine learning. So all those tracks nowadays as a virtual event, we should connect, and also not only focusing on the database, but everyone should focus on the different areas so that they can, learn those stuff and they can expand their horizon. So this is the main aim for this event actually. So balancing out with this, speaking over there, and also supporting our community in India, that everyone can participate and we all together grow with this actually. And I'm very much passionate about Oracle, so I always do that, promoting Oracle. That yes, Oracle, you should opt for Oracle, you should go for it. So I started my career with Oracle only. I was not an Oracle, but I was working on the Oracle technology. So from that onwards, I'm very much passionate about this Oracle technology.
I can see that, and that's very good. But is it challenging to do virtually? I mean, because it's not a small conference. There's 100
Yeah, yeah.
speakers. There's 100 speakers. It's 3 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge challenge actually with us, and I really appreciate Sai that how he's managing this event is really, really awesome actually. So he is bringing speakers, those speakers who are, means we are waiting for them from last couple of years to speak in
Yeah.
our event. So
Right.
now in this event, we have bring those speakers in this event. So really appreciable, a very tough thing that to bring speakers in a virtual event, and totally a new content. So nowadays there are many events virtually is going on, and bringing a new content is a challenging task. So this is what Sai and team has did, and very wonderfully they are organizing it, and I'm really grateful that I'm a part of that team, and I'm this having a wonderful team. So being a part of this team is really awesome, and interacting with Sai and Vinay, Ashwarya, those are a very great personality who are doing so many things behind the scene.
Yeah, it has been extra. It has been really exceptional. And one of the things that I noticed in terms of the speakers this year, you have gotten a different mix of speakers. And secondly, there are
Yeah.
a bunch of really, really senior people from Oracle. So, for the Indian community, they have access to a lot of people that they wouldn't ordinarily have access to. And it's also important that for those senior people, they have this experience, right? And I'm sure it's been very, very good. So you never know when if we're allowed out of the house next year, we'll be able to have the conference live.
Yeah.
Then there those more people and more different types of speakers will be willing to travel to India. Because I've
Mm.
spoken with several speakers from Yatra, from the virtual Yatra, and from this Sangam event, and they've never presented to the Indian community.
Mm.
It's a global event, but it's primarily the Indian community, and
Yeah.
they love it. They just love how it's been managed. The project management has
Yeah.
been very good, and the enthusiasm and the interest of the community as well. So
Yeah. So I want to say that AIOG volunteers are very much passionate about
yeah,
these things actually, and that's the reason that AIOG is bringing a flagship event in this area actually. So this is really awesome.
cool. Well, it sounds great, and for my little part, I've been thoroughly enjoying myself, even though I'm sort of at the edge. But
Yeah.
it's really great to talk to you here again, even virtually, and hopefully next year, a year from now, next December,
Yes.
December 21. What do you think? I don't know.
Yes,
Well, what
definitely we will meet. I can say
yeah.
definitely we will meet, and we will wait for you, Jim, and we will again meet soon. Hopefully, this COVID-19 will go away
Yeah,
very
well, you
soon.
see, you see, you see, that's the good thing here. We're at the end of
Mm,
the year. And it all, so, 2021, we'll go back to normal. Everything's going to be fine in January.
Yeah,
Everything's going to be fine. So, right.
right.
All right, Chandan, thanks a lot. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Be good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye bye.